Floor now with a microphone to talk about a topic and a bipartisan bill that will affect what consumers pay for their food, the grave threats of worldwide malnutrition and hunger, and the future of every farmer, every grower, and the future of every rancher in America. That topic is agriculture biotechnology. We have all heard about our growing global population. Currently is 7 billion and estimated to reach over 9.6 billion in the next few decades. And tonight, 1 in 9 people, that's roughly 800 million people, Mr. President, worldwide will go to bed hungry. Around the world, impoverished regions are facing increased challenges in feeding their people. Show me a nation that cannot feed itself, and I'll show you a nation in chaos, and goodness knows we've had enough of that. We've seen too many examples in recent years where shortfalls in grain and other food items or increases in prices at the consumer level have helped to trigger outbreaks of civil unrest and protests in places like the Middle East and Africa. In light of these global security threats, today's farmers are being asked to produce more safe and affordable food to meet the demands at home and around the globe. At the same time, farmers are facing increased challenges to their production, including limited land and water resources, uncertain weather, to be sure, and pest and disease issues. However, over the past 20 years, agriculture biotechnology has become an invaluable tool in ensuring the success of the American farmer in meeting the challenge of increasing yield in a more efficient, safe, and responsible manner. For years now, the United States has proven that American agriculture plays a pivotal role in addressing food shortfalls around the world. We must continue to consider new and innovative ways to get ahead of the growing population and production challenges. Now, in addressing these issues, we must continue to be guided by the best available science, research, and innovation. Mr. President, if you've heard any of my previous remarks on this topic, you've heard me say time and time again that biotechnology products are safe. My colleagues, you don't have to take my word for it. The Agriculture Committee held a hearing late last year where all 3 agencies in charge of reviewing biotechnology testified before our members. Over and over again, the EPA, the FDA, and the USDA told us that these products are safe, that they are safe for the environment, safe for other plants, and certainly safe for our food supply. Since that hearing, the U.S. government reinforced their decisions on the safety of these products. Last November, the FDA took several steps based on sound science regarding food that is produced from biotech plants, including issue final guidance for manufacturers who wish to voluntarily label their products as containing ingredients from biotech or exclusively non-biotech plants. And more importantly, the Food and Drug Administration denied a petition that would have required the mandatory on-package labeling of biotech foods. The FDA maintained that evidence was not provided for the agency to put such a requirement in place because there is no health, safety, or nutritional difference between biotech crops and their non-biotech varieties. A recent report from the National Academy of Sciences found no substantial evidence of a difference in risk to human health between currently commercial available genetically engineered crops and conventionally bred crops. And just last week, 110 Nobel laureates sent an open letter to the leaders of Greenpeace, the United Nations, and all governments around the world in support of agriculture biotechnology, and particularly in support of golden rice. You see, golden rice has had the potential, and has the potential to reduce or eliminate much of the death and disease caused by a vitamin A deficiency, particularly among the poorest people in Africa and Southeast Asia. These world-renowned scientists noted that, quote, scientific and regulatory agencies around the world have repeatedly and consistently found crops and foods improved through biotechnology to be as safe, if not safer, than those derived from any other method of production. Furthermore, the laureate said there has never been a single confirmed case of a negative health outcome for humans or animals from their consumption. Their environmental impacts have been shown repeatedly to be less damaging to the environment and a boon to global biodiversity. Now, there's been a lot of discussion about agriculture biotechnology lately, and that's a good thing. We should be talking about our food. We should be talking about our farmers and producers, and we should be talking to consumers. It's important to have an honest discussion and an open exchange of dialogue. After all, that is what we do here in the Senate. To discuss difficult issues, craft solutions, and finally, vote in the best interest of our constituents. The difficult issue for us to address is what to do about the patchwork of biotechnology labeling laws that soon will wreak havoc on the flow of interstate commerce of agriculture and food products in every supermarket, every grocery store, up and down every main street. That is what this discussion should be about. It's not about safety or health or nutrition. It's all about marketing. If we don't act today, what we face is a handful of states that have chosen to enact labeling requirements on information that has nothing to do with health, with safety, or nutrition. Unfortunately, the impact of those state decisions will be felt across the country and around the globe. Those decisions impact the farmers in fields who would be pressured to grow less efficient crops so manufacturers could avoid these demonizing labels. Those labeling laws will impact distributors who have to spend more money to sort different labels for different states. Those labeling laws will ultimately impact consumers who will suffer from much higher priced food. And when on-package labels force food manufacturers to reformulate food products, our farmers will have limited biotechnology options available. This will result in less food available to the many mouths in our troubled and hungry world. It's not manufacturers who pay the ultimate price. It's the consumer at home and around the globe who will bear this burden unless we act today. Now, I am proud of the critical role the Department of Agriculture has played and will continue to play in combating global hunger. Farmers and ranchers in Kansas, Michigan, all across this country have been and are committed to continue to doing their part. And those of us who represent them in the United States Senate should do our part to stand up in defense of sound science and innovation. We should stand up to ensure that our farmers and ranchers have access to agriculture, biotechnology, and other tools to address these global challenges. Now, the proposal put forth by my distinguished ranking member, Senator Stabenow, and myself provides that the defense of our food system and our farmers and ranchers, while at the same time providing a reasonable solution to consumer demand for more information. That's what the bill does. Our amendment strikes a careful balance. It certainly is not perfect. From my perspective, it's not the best possible bill, but it is the best bill possible under these difficult circumstances we find ourselves in today. That is why, my colleagues, it is supported by a broad coalition of well over 1,000 food and agriculture interests. That sets a record in the Senate Agriculture Committee, including the American Farm Bureau Federation, Grocery Manufacturers Association, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, just to name a few. I urge my colleagues not to merely support cloture on a bill this afternoon, but to support your broad range of constituents who benefit from its passing. Passing this bill benefits farmers and ranchers by providing a mechanism for disclosure that educates rather than denigrates their technology. Passing this bill benefits manufacturers by providing a single national standard with which to be held accountable, rather than an unworkable system of many more state standards. And finally, passing this bill benefits consumers by greatly increasing the amount of food information at their fingertips, but does not do so in a way that provides cost-effective options to avoid devastating increases in the price of food. Passing this bill is the responsible thing to do, Mr. President. It's time for us to act. I urge my colleagues to join us in doing just that.